Hey guys, Miss Algar here. You are watching part 2 of the Shakespeare's Writing Style series. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the other type of writing Shakespeare is famous for, his sonnets, which he wrote 154 of, and in relation to that, we'll be talking a little bit about rhyming couplets, which Shakespeare uses not only in his sonnets, but in his other works as well. So let's jump right into it. What are sonnets? First off, sonnets are 14-line poems. They follow a specific pattern of rhyming called a rhyme scheme. And lastly, most sonnets, if not all of them, focus on the same subject, which is love, a lot of passion and romance that you'll find in sonnets. There are two main forms of sonnets that you'll hear about. The first being the English sonnet, commonly known as the Shakespearean sonnet, and the other is the Italian sonnet, also known as the Petrarchan sonnet. Today we'll be taking a look at the Shakespearean or English sonnet. So now what we've got here is one of Shakespeare's most famous sonnets. This is sonnet number 18, and instead of reading it to you myself, I have the wonderful Mr. David Tennant reading it for you, so take a listen and enjoy.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou grow'st. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
Great. So now you've got the sound of a sonnet in your head. Now let's take a look at the things that make up a sonnet. As you can see, I have numbered the lines, and you can see that this is indeed a sonnet. It has the 14 lines we are looking for. And the other thing we're looking for is the rhyme scheme. And you'll see that what I've done is I have underlined all the last words, the ending words of each line, because these are the words that are going to tell us what the rhyme scheme is. We figure out what rhyme scheme is using letters, and for each new sound we hear, we assign it a letter. So let's take a look at these last words. We've got day, temperate, may, date, shines, dimmed, declines, untrimmed, fade, owest, shade, and growest, and finally we have C and V. So let's work from the top. So first sound we hear is day. Let's quickly check, is there something that rhymes with day? Yes, we see that may right here rhymes with day, so let's put an A there as well. And very quickly, there are no other rhymes for day and may, so we are done with A. Quickly, our next one is temperate, and we can see that date is here as well. Temperate and date do not immediately sound like rhymes, but take note that during Shakespeare's time, they pronounced words a little bit differently. And in this case, our tip-off that these two words are actually rhymes are the way in that they're spelled. So in this case, temperate and date are rhymes. Now let's keep going. Next, we've got shines, and we see here declines, very similar to this pattern of the first and third line rhyming in our first set of lines. So let's quickly label these C, because these are new rhymes. We've got dimmed and untrimmed, and they're even written the same way with that apostrophe there, and Shakespeare used this to consolidate multiple syllables. So we're going to label these two D. Okay, next we are moving to fade and shade, oist and growist. So I'm starting to see a pattern emerging here. So in these first 12 lines, we've seen that the first and third lines rhyme, right? Of each kind of set of 4. And the second, this is why I'm an English teacher, and fourth lines rhyme. So this set right here, right, and this set make up a 4-line stanza, and these are called quatrains. I'm going to spell it right here, quatrains. Okay, but we can't forget these last 2 lines here. There's still 2 lines in our sonnet, and we can see that they rhyme at the very end. So for this one, they're going to get a G, G. So now you see that our rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, G, G. But now you're asking, hold on, I know I've got 3 quatrains, but what do you call these last 2 lines at the bottom here? Those 2 lines are called rhyming couplets. A rhyming couplet is pretty much 2 lines, stanza of 2 lines with rhyming end words, as we saw there, where we saw C and the, right? And these 2 words obviously rhyme. We know that they're used at the end of sonnets, but they're also used at the very end of speeches or scenes, so that Shakespeare can typically make a point. They're typically spoken by the upper class. So here you'll find that typically kings, queens, those ladies, and so on. They're the ones who are going to be speaking in these rhyming couplets. And also take note, this part is very important, that rhyming couplets can be spoken by more than one person. So one person can begin a couplet and another person can complete it. Let's now take a look at a couple of rhyming couplets. And these ones that we have here are spoken by Juliet in Act 1, Scene 5 of Romeo and Juliet. And we can see here that we've got 2 rhyming couplets because we've got hate and late that marks 1 here. And we can quickly draw a line here to show us that there are 2 couplets here. We've got 1 and 2 because me and enemy do not rhyme with hate and late, but they do rhyme with each other. So that's why we've got 2 couplets here. And in this set, Juliet is saying, my only love, sprung from my only hate, too early seen, unknown, and known too late. Prodigious birth of love it is to me, that I must love a loathed enemy. Juliet talking about this loathed enemy. She's talking about her love for Romeo, which we know is what the entire play of Romeo and Juliet centers on, this forbidden love between 2 offspring of feuding families. So you can see here how Shakespeare is using this set of rhyming couplets to tell us, to make a very important point to us about this forbidden love of loathed enemies. So we've come to the end of this video, and as always, I want to recap what it is we've learned. So we learned about 2 things today. First, we learned about sonnets. Specifically, we learned about the Shakespearean sonnet. And we learned that these are 14 lines long. They are poems. And they follow a specific rhyme scheme. And this rhyme scheme is that A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, G, G, in which we have here, right, if we were to split it up this way, our 3 quatrains and our 1 rhyming couplet. And we also learned that love is the subject of most sonnets. Now, we did also learn about rhyming couplets, and we learned that they are 2 lines long, typically, with that end rhyme that matches. And we also learned that they not only mark the end of sonnets, but they also mark the end of scenes. And these are typically spoken by the upper class, but they can be spoken by more than one character or person. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them on the website or in the comments section here. That is all for this video.